Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. Today I was reading in Psalm 122. It is a wonderful song. It's called the Song of Ascents. There are several of these that David has written that the people would sing as they entered into Jerusalem or as they climbed that hill to head to the temple so that they could worship together. He says in Psalm 122, "I was glad when they said to me, 'Let us go into the house of the Lord.' Our feet have been standing within your gates, O Jerusalem." These people are so excited and they're rejoicing as they are heading here to worship. Now, sometimes that is not the case, all right? Sometimes mom is complaining because she's trying to put on her makeup in the mirror and dad is hitting too many bumps in the road. Or Mary and Johnny are both in the back seat fighting over one set of earbuds that they each want to use on the way to church. Or dad is complaining about that slow driver in front of him that is going to cause them to be late for church, having nothing to do with the fact that they started out late anyway. But how do we feel whenever we enter into the house of worship? Some of these worshipers are ascending to Jerusalem and they're singing, "I was so glad." This is a joyous state of being. I really think that must have been how Blue Point people felt this past Sunday, knowing that rain or shine, we were actually going to meet together this week as a body of believers. And these people's rejoicing is due to the fact that they're going to the house of the Lord. Not only are they going to be able to worship there, but there are so many other benefits when we gather together in the house of the Lord. First of all, we lock the rest of the world out. That is such a great benefit of being in the house of the Lord. With all the turmoil and the violence, the demonstrating that's going on in our country, we lock all those things out when we enter into the house of the Lord. And we also lock out the world with all of its foul language or its lewd dress or its lawless actions that we see on every corner. We forget about those things. We have entered into the house of the Lord. And by the way, in the house of the Lord, we can also seek encouragement and blessing while we're meeting together with other believers. You know, we were so blessed this last Sunday, we were able to introduce 4 new babies who had not been able to come to our services previously, and it was a wonderful sight to have all these new children. As a matter of fact, our nursery was rather full that day. We got to hear from some folks that we hadn't really seen in quite a while. We got to hear a congregation sing God's praises in such a way that when they all gather together, it's such a blessing. Going into God's house has been taken for granted for so long. But during this COVID quarantine, we've come to realize how much we've missed it. So we can sing together, "I was glad when they said unto me, 'Let's go into the house of the Lord.'" You know, Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 3 also mentions this phrase whenever he's talking about the last days. The prophet says, "In the last days, many peoples will say, 'Let us go up to the house of the Lord,' so that we can hear him teach us his ways, so that we can learn to walk in his paths." I hope that that's our desire also when we go to church. I hope that we can sing this song of ascents along the way. "I was glad when they said unto me, 'Let us go into the house of the Lord.'" And by the way, we have an early jump on these people that are later spoken of in prophecy. We're already singing that song. We're already entering in. "I was glad when they said unto me, 'Let's go to the house of the Lord.'" So this Sunday, let's do that and let's sing about it as we go.